So I want to share with you guys something, because I'm in Hawaii by myself for a reason. When I originally was told to come, and when I say told to come, I mean God told me to go. And he said, go in 2 weeks and stay for 3. And I was like, 3 weeks is a long time to be without my babies. And to leave my children behind. And it just worked all of my nerves. And I had to like really lean into this place of trust and that everything's going to be okay. I had to get over my own stuff, right? And then I get here and I'm staying at the house I'm staying at. I haven't seen any bugs, any nothing. Like, I mean, we're in Hawaii. You'd expect to see stuff. See nothing. Then I move upstairs. I move upstairs into the studio. It's a nice studio. Looks fantastic. I'm sitting on my bed. I'm pulling cards. And I am journaling. Look to my right, and on the floor, this roach like crawls out, right? Stops. I look at it and I was like, what are you here for? And it literally just turns around and walks back. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like it was like, just check in. Then as though that's not enough, right? Later it comes, I'm in the bathroom. That's my first experience, my first night upstairs. And this is on my own, because I had been sleeping downstairs in a separate bedroom with my cousin, which was, so I was safe. I wasn't on my own. So then I'm upstairs, and that's my first night. The second night, I'm out all day long, not thinking anything of it, I'm just moving around the house or the studio apartment, like no big deal. Come into the bathroom at the end of the day, and there are two like I swear they were like that big, like crawling on the shelf like at face height, and I'm like, terrified, and I'm like, shit, lost my It just totally startled me, and they have not a care in the world. They do not care that the light's on. They do not care that I'm in there. So what do? I leave. I don't stay there. I leave. But eventually, my bladder gets the better of me, and I have to go back in. So I go back in, and I don't see them anywhere, and I'm like, oh, phew. Go ahead and I use the bathroom. Next day, I'm like, okay, angels, I need you to go ahead of me and make sure that the bathroom's clear and stuff, because I really gotta go and I just can't. So I walk into the bathroom and I do the whole look around. I don't see them anywhere. And I sit down, use the toilet. Probably TMI, but whatever. I turn around to get the toilet paper. It's like staring at me in my face. Oh my gosh, I never jumped off the toilet so fast in my whole freaking life. Oh, well, except for when we had the earthquake in Utah, that might have made me jump off the toilet. Anyway, point is I was like, like it came out of nowhere. I don't even know where it came from. So I take care of business, wash my hands and stuff, and then I go get my shoe, right? I come back in the bathroom with my shoe, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill this guy. And they're hiding. I mean, I can see their big long antennas, like, and they're hiding, and I'm like, oh gosh. So I kind of have to fish them out, and the one that falls down on the ground, and I can't quite smash it. So I get the toilet bowl cleaner, and I'm like, I'm so bad. I feel bad now that I look back, and then it's like laying on his back, and it's like, and I spray it. I spray it with Solumel from Melaleuca or something. I'm like, that's supposed to get rid of smells or what. I don't remember what Solumel does. Anyway, so I spray it, and it just stays there. Then I pick it up with the toilet brush that I've been smashing it with, right? And I dump it in the toilet and I flush it. And then I spray the floor and I clean up where I was, murdering this poor little creature. And then I see the second one. It's on the top shelf, on the toilet paper, on the paper towel roll, just like hanging out. Like I can see its little. What am I supposed to do? So I try to get the paper towel, thinking I can just dump it in the toilet, right? And when I go touch it, it runs. It runs inside the toilet paper roll. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? So I have to I don't know what to do. So I wait and come back in the bathroom a little bit later, and Okay, so I'll be honest. I always am like, I'm super hypersensitive to these types of things. Like, I can feel when they're around. Like, there was a stint where we had bed bugs, and I could totally feel. Like, you're not supposed to know, but I could feel them, and I'd wake up and be like, "There's one in my bed," and sure enough, there was. But so I'm like hypersensitive to these types of things. Anyway, I jump up. I mean, I come in the bathroom, and I can see it, and it's like down at the bottom by the back of the toilet, right? So I get my shoe, and I like try to smack it, and it doesn't quite die. And so, of course, you know, the old faithful, I go to get the toilet cleaner, and as I like lift it, it like lifts the whole cup up, right? So, and it runs underneath the cup, so I slam it down, and then I can just see its legs sticking out, and I'm like, what do I do? Anyway, I end up killing this poor little creature, and then afterwards, after I've like cleaned everything up and gotten rid of it, poor things, I have a full realization. Why were these guys here? Because they're my fear, right? They're my fear. I have a fear, or I had, we'll use past tense because I don't have the same fear that I had prior to disposing of them. I had a fear, and it stemmed from when I was younger. You know, we had a lot of pet family come in and out of the islands, which is totally fine. But there was a time I was washing dishes, and I heard it. I heard, "Move, it's gonna fall on your head." And I'm washing dishes, and I'm like, no, it'll be fine. And then I even saw in my head, like, this rope's like falling off of the light and onto my head. And I was like, it'll be fine, trying to dismiss spirit, right? Telling my intuition, you're fine, stop being blah, blah. It fell on my head. I lost my mind in my kitchen. My hands, I was so sorry that, I mean, all I had to do was move, and I would have totally missed the whole scenario. But instead, and it would have fallen on the ground, I probably would have just killed it or whatever. Instead, it fell on my head, got stuck in my hair. I'm freaking out in the kitchen. I finally get it out, and the whole time I was told, just move. I make it a point to listen when God speaks now, because I freaking don't want cockroaches in my hair. So anyway, I go back in, kill this little cockroach, right? I killed the cockroach. I've murdered it with the toilet thing. I've thrown it away, cleaned up the floor, and I realize they're my fears. They're my fears. And what they were representing for me, which I've come over, is the fear of leaving my children. I've left my children for 3 weeks, which has been really, 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 really hard. And I'm only 1 week down. I've got 2 more weeks to go. And I'm really curious if I can finish out these 3 weeks, because I miss my babies so much. Not only do I miss them, but it totally brings up all of this stuff for me, like whether or not I'm being a good mom, whether or not they're safe, whether or not I'm doing the right thing, whether or not I can't even do this thing right, you know, now that I'm on my own. And it's like, just bringing up all this stuff. And so that's like, you know, what those roaches were representing, my big fears, right? Because I check on my babies every day, FaceTiming them and talking to them, and they're fine. They're fine. They're taking care of each other, and they're good. Thank God for grocery delivery. You know, I just order their groceries and send them to them, but your fears are going to come up, and the point is you got to face them. And sometimes you're going to be called to do stuff that is so outside of your comfort zone that you don't want to do it. You like literally want to resist it. I encourage you, do it anyway. Do it anyway. My book that I'm working on is really coming together amazingly. I'm actually enjoying writing it. I wasn't a strong reader, so it's not like I'm like, yay, I want to write a book. It was more just like, write this book. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in this process. Trust, right? Trust in the divine. Trust God. Trust the angels. Trust that inspiration. Trust your intuition. And kill those cockroaches. Your fears. Overcome them. You can. They're not nearly as big and terrifying as they seem. And then I'll tell you about the one that crawled up my leg in the shower. Yeah, because it never ends. It's an ongoing journey. No, that's for another day.